Shalom. I'm Eddie Chumney of Hebraic Heritage Ministries, and we welcome you to this week's Focus Israel Report. In this week's report, we're going to be giving you information regarding the city of Jerusalem. Jerusalem first appears in the Bible in the book of Joshua. The name Jerusalem in Hebrew is Yerushalayim. It comes from two Hebrew words, Yireh and Shalem, or Shalom, meaning the Lord sees peace. Jerusalem is situated on the southern spur of a plateau in the Judean mountains, which includes the Mount of Olives to the east and Mount Scopus to the northeast. The elevation of the old city is approximately 760 meters or 2,490 feet. The whole of Jerusalem is surrounded by valleys and dry riverbeds known as wadis. The Kidron, Hinnon, and Tyropoeon valleys intersect in an area just south of the old city of Jerusalem. The Kidron Valley runs to the east of the old city and separates the Mount of Olives from the city proper. Along the southern side of Old Jerusalem is the Valley of Hinnon, a steep ravine associated in biblical eschatology with the concept of Gehenna, or hell. The Tyropoeon Valley commenced in the northwest near the Damascus Gate, ran southeasternly toward the center of the old city down to the pool of Siloam, and divided the lower part into two hills, the Temple Mount to the east and the rest of the city to the west. Today, this valley is hidden by debris that has accumulated over the centuries. In biblical times, Jerusalem was surrounded by forests of almond, olive, and pine trees. Over centuries of warfare and neglect, these forests were destroyed. Farmers in the Jerusalem region thus built stone terraces along the slopes to hold back the soil, a feature still very much in evidence in the Jerusalem landscape. Water supply has always been a major problem in Jerusalem, as attested to by the intricate network of ancient aqueducts, tunnels, pools, and cisterns found in the city. Jerusalem is 60 kilometers, or about 37 miles, east of Tel Aviv and the Mediterranean Sea. On the opposite side of the city, approximately 35 kilometers, or 22 miles away, is the Dead Sea, which is the lowest body of water on earth. Mount Herzl, at the western side of the city, near the Jerusalem forest, serves as the national cemetery of Israel. Jerusalem is characterized by a Mediterranean climate with hot, dry summers and mild, wet winters. Snow flurries usually occur once or twice a winter, although the city experiences heavy snowfall every 3 to 4 years, with short-lived accumulation. January is the coldest month of the year, with an average temperature of 9 degrees Celsius, or about 48 degrees Fahrenheit. July and August are the hottest months, with an average temperature of about 24 degrees Celsius, or 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and the summer months are usually rainless. The average annual precipitation is about 550 millimeters, or 22 inches, with rain occurring almost entirely between October and May. In December 2007, Jerusalem had a population of 747,600 people. 64% were Jewish, 32% Muslim, and 2% Christian. About 9% of the old city's roughly 32,500 people were Jews. The population of Jerusalem continues to rise due to the high birth rate, especially in the Jewish ultra-Orthodox neighborhoods as well as Arab communities. Consequently, the total fertility rate in Jerusalem is about 4. That is higher than Tel Aviv, about 2, and well above the national average of about 3. The average size of Jerusalem's 180,000 households is 3.8 people. The Jerusalem City Council is a body of 31 elected members headed by the mayor, who serves a 5-year term and appoints 8 deputies. Apart from the mayor and his deputies, city council members receive no salaries and work on a voluntary basis. The longest serving Jerusalem mayor was Teddy Kollek, who spent 28 years or 6 consecutive terms in office. Under the United Nations Partition Plan for Palestine, passed by the United Nations in 1947, Jerusalem was envisioned to become a corpus separatum administered by the United Nations. While the Jewish leaders accepted the partition plan, the Arab leadership rejected it, opposing any partition. The international community largely considers the legal status of Jerusalem to derive from the 1947 UN partition plan and correspondingly refuses to recognize Israeli sovereignty in the city. On December the 5th, 1949, the State of Israel's first Prime Minister, David Ben-Gurion, proclaimed Jerusalem as Israel's capital, and since then all branches of the Israeli government, legislative, judicial, and executive, have resided there, except for the Ministry of Defense, which is located in Tel Aviv. At the time of the proclamation, Jerusalem was divided between Israel and Jordan, and thus only West Jerusalem was proclaimed Israel's capital. Following the Six-Day War, Israel annexed East Jerusalem, and a provision stipulating that the city was the united capital of Israel was added to the country's basic law. The status of a united Jerusalem as Israel's eternal capital has been a matter of immense controversy within the international community. Although some countries maintain consulates in Jerusalem, all embassies are located outside the city proper, mostly in Tel Aviv. On October the 28th, 2009, UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon warned that Jerusalem must be the capital of both Israel and the Palestinian people if peace between Israel and the Palestinians is to be accomplished. The Palestinian National Authority views East Jerusalem as occupied territory according to UN Security Council Resolution 242, which was passed in 1967. The Palestinian Authority claims all of East Jerusalem, including the Temple Mount, as the capital of the State of Palestine, and claims that West Jerusalem is also subject to permanent status negotiations. However, it is stated that it would be willing to consider alternative solutions, such as making Jerusalem an open or international city. Most national institutions of Israel are located in Jerusalem. The city is home to the Knesset, the Supreme Court, the official residences of the President and Prime Minister, the Cabinet, all ministries except for the Ministry of Defense, and the Bank of Israel. Prior to the creation of the State of Israel, Jerusalem served as the administrative capital of the British Mandate for Palestine, which included present-day Israel and Jordan. From 1949 until 1967, West Jerusalem served as Israel's capital, but was not recognized as such internationally because UN General Assembly Resolution 194 envisioned Jerusalem as an international city. As a result of the Six-Day War in 1967, the whole of Jerusalem came under Israeli control. The Oslo Accords, signed in 1993, stated that the final status of Jerusalem would be determined by negotiations between Israel and the Palestinian Authority. The Accords banned any official Palestinian presence in the city until a final peace agreement, but provided for the opening of a Palestinian trade office in East Jerusalem. The Palestinian Authority regards East Jerusalem as the capital of a future Palestinian state. President Mahmoud Abbas has said that any agreement that did not include East Jerusalem as the capital of Palestine would be unacceptable to the Palestinians. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has similarly stated that Jerusalem would remain the undivided capital of Israel. In the 2000 Statistical Yearbook of Jerusalem, it lists that there are 1,204 synagogues, 158 churches, and 73 mosques within the city. Although not mentioned in the Torah or the Pentateuch, the first 5 books of the Hebrew Scriptures, Jerusalem is mentioned in the Bible 632 times. Today, the Western Wall, a remnant of the wall surrounding the Second Temple, is a Jewish holy site second only to the Holy of Holies on the Temple Mount itself. Synagogues around the world are traditionally built with the Holy Ark facing Jerusalem, and arks within Jerusalem face the Holy of Holies. As prescribed in the Mishnah and codified in Shulchan Aruch, daily prayers are recited while facing toward Jerusalem and the Temple Mount. Jerusalem is considered by some as the third holiest city in Sunni Islam. The city's lasting place in Islam, however, is primarily due to Muhammad's night of ascension, which is said to have taken place about the year 620. Muslims believe Muhammad was miraculously transported one night from Mecca in Saudi Arabia to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, whereupon he ascended to heaven to meet previous prophets of Islam. Jerusalem is also home to many artistic and cultural venues. The Israeli Museum attracts nearly 1 million visitors a year, approximately one-third of them tourists. The Dead Sea Scrolls, discovered in the mid-20th century in the Qumran caves near the Dead Sea, are housed in the museum's Shrine of the Book. Yad Vashem, Israel's national memorial to the victims of the Holocaust, houses the world's largest library of Holocaust-related information with an estimated 100,000 books and articles. The complex contains a state-of-the-art museum that explores the genocide of the Jews through exhibits that focus on the personal stories of individuals and families killed in the Holocaust, and an art gallery featuring the works of artists who perished. Yad Vashem also commemorates the 1.5 million Jewish children murdered by the German Nazis and honors the righteous among the nations. These would be non-Jews. Egged Bus Cooperative is the second largest bus company in the world, handles most of the local and inner-city bus service in and around Jerusalem. Jerusalem is home to several prestigious universities offering courses in Hebrew, Arabic, and English. Founded in 1925, the Hebrew University of Jerusalem has been ranked among the top 100 schools in the world. The Hebrew University operates 3 campuses in Jerusalem, one on Mount Scopus, another on Givat Ram, and a medical campus at the Hadassah Ein Kerem Hospital. The Jerusalem College of Technology, founded in 1969, combines training in engineering and other high-tech industries with a Jewish studies program. It is one of the many schools in Jerusalem from elementary school and up that combine secular and religious studies. Historically, Jerusalem's economy was supported almost exclusively by religious pilgrims, as it was located far from the major ports of Jaffa and Gaza, located on the Mediterranean coast. Jerusalem's religious landmarks today remain the top draw for foreign visitors, with the majority of tourists visiting the Western Wall and the Old City. But in the past half-century, it has become increasingly clear that Jerusalem's providence cannot solely be sustained by its religious significance. The unemployment rate in Jerusalem is about 8.5%, and that's slightly better than the national average of about 9%. In 2006, the average monthly income for a worker in Jerusalem was roughly $1,410. Although Tel Aviv remains Israel's financial capital, a growing number of high-tech companies are moving to Jerusalem, providing 12,000 jobs in that industry in 2006. Since the establishment of the State of Israel, the national government has remained a major player in Jerusalem's economy. The government, centered in Jerusalem, generates a large number of jobs and offers subsidies and incentives for new business initiatives and startups. Well, this is going to conclude this week's Focus Israel Report, where we looked at the background and information regarding the city of Jerusalem. Until we do it again, Shalom in Yeshua the Messiah. Amen.